Again, I'm already contradicting myself because I said the last one of these that I probably would be sporadic with making them, but then last night happened and I realized that I really did want to talk about this topic. Now I'm going to go into more depth tonight because a lot of the stuff that I feel like I really want to broach and talk about kind of will come across as spoilers for those of you who haven't seen this movie yet. So I want to be mindful of all of that. So I will be talking more tonight on the Bonnet Chronicles, but I just wanted to do a mental health vlog to talk a little bit about how the Wakanda Forever movie made me feel. I know those of you who know me know that I'm a writer now. I'm still trying to wrap my head around and accept that. And, it's not to like say, oh, you know, accolades or anything. It's the fact that I had so much doubt before that it is still hard for me to call myself a writer, even though I'm now self published, but published and people are reading the story. But I'm getting rambly, so I want to get back to the point. I watched Wakanda Forever finally last night after like those of us who struggle with not only mental but actual health problems. I'm autoimmune compromised and I can't risk getting COVID even though I'm boosted. So I just don't go to the movies anymore. And honestly speaking, even before the world turned to a very sick place, I wasn't really all that interested in going out. My therapist and psychiatrist had me doing at least a once a month excursion out of the house so I didn't become a complete shut in pre COVID. And movies was one of the one things Greg could always talk me into going. And I remember when the first Black Panther came out, taking Kiddo because it was 2 days before his birthday, and it was just such a magical experience for both of us. So it kind of hurt last year when this movie came out, and I couldn't give him that experience again because of my own health problems and paranoia. But we waited patiently, and Black History Month did start to really deliver, and I got to watch this movie. And when I say I took so many things from it, and I really like, I'm not going to give spoilers in this mental health vlog because a lot of people who might watch this one haven't seen the movie yet. They're planning to watch the movie. I am going to warn you that tonight on the Bonnet Chronicles, I will be spoiling some things. I'm going to try to keep a lot of stuff, you know, out of this mental health vlog, but I do want to talk about how that movie made me feel, and I think the Bonnet Chronicles will be better to be more in depth about how certain things that played out made me feel. But this mental health vlog is more about how the processes of both grieving, family, letting go, and what you hold on to really resonated. And watching them say goodbye to somebody that was so dear to them, the heart of the series, and watching somebody else step into a role that they're unsure of or if they can even fill it. The idea of what makes somebody strong or weak, smart or dumb. There's just so much to unpack with this movie. So what really started to hit me hard as I talked to my partner was family ties. As those of you know, I completely cut off ties with the majority of the people I'm blood related to. It was my choice. I honestly felt as I got older, the less stress in my life came from not constantly being put in the middle of whatever drama and nonsense that they had. And while it was painful at first, every day I got to breathe a little bit easier. Every day I got a little bit less worries in my life. And it's not 100%. Some of them in New York are currently fighting over properties and issues and trying to involve me. I'm getting people banging on my house door, dropping off paperwork for their nonsense. And then my mom's side of the family, I'm sure, think I'm a bad child for not taking my responsibility of taking care of her, even though I never signed up for that. And I had to get over that whole mental feeling that I owed it to this woman when no, on so many reasons, no. But also the fact that I did long to have a normal mother daughter relationship that's just not possible. It's not in the cards. It's never going to happen. And while I mourn letting go of it, and it still hurts from time to time, I'm okay. I think for a lot of us struggling with toxic parents, toxic family situations, the letting go part is the hardest part of all of this. One of the things I had to constantly tell myself is it's okay to have days where you hurt because you see things like a mother daughter relationship that seems stronger than anything you could possibly know. It's okay to feel a little bit envious of your friends who have actual decent relationships with their parents or have their parents who actually care about them without wanting something in return. You can even see some of the more toxic sides of some of the things that they do too without automatically assuming they're only doing it to be toxic people. But it is a arduous process and it's not 100%. I still have a lot of trust issues because of the way I grew up. I still have a lot of trust issues because of the person who brought me into this world not being the person I could rely on. And I had to accept that and I had to work on being a reliable person for the person I brought into this world. And realize that bringing him into this world doesn't mean he owes me a damn thing for it. Because I cannot stand that mentality, that weird quid pro quo mentality that somehow having him means I'll have somebody take care of me when I'm old. I'll take care of me when I'm old. And I think that's the problem that some of my family had. You raised us to be so independent that you forget that we could get to a point where we don't have to rely on you. You left us alone for so long that we're okay being that way. And with this movie, there was a lot to unpack about grief, solitude, belief, because as a writer of sci fi, especially, and having my spiritual side be more towards paganism, tribalism, and the like, it comforts me that people are starting to understand that there can be a joining of both spirituality and science. And I want to explore it more in my own writing because while I still feel there was amazing things showcased, and like I said, I can't wait till tonight because I'm definitely going to unpack a lot more on the Bonnet Chronicles. I still feel like Hollywood and people who write future tech limit themselves externally. That's the best way I can put it. We're so all about the flash. We're not all about the substance and the deeper roots that can come from a fusion of technology and just living with it. But it's like I said, what I took from the movie last night was deeper than that. And it was kind of hard because I felt all those emotions welling up in me and I did not have to hold back, which was a other great part about being able to watch it streamed in my house and stuff was being able to relax, let those emotions flow because we were saying goodbye to Chadwick Boseman's character. Make no mistake, this movie was the perfect eulogy to his work, to the lives he touched, to everybody who loved him, including the fans and all the people who worked with him. You could feel the love they had for him resonate through the scripts, through how the actors carried themselves, through everything. There were a few lighthearted moments, but there were some moments that would have felt heavier if it was done wrong, and it was done so well. There were people that you want to root for because you can understand their mentality, but you also had that duality of not liking their ways. And I felt like it was the epitome of what being black and brown in this world is like. And I am just so grateful that we have storytellers and directors that can bring such stories to life, such complexities of who it is to be us to life, because so many people don't get that. They don't get those aspects. They don't see us. And I really hope that this movie helps more people see us. Now that it's able to be streamed on Disney Plus, I don't go around recommending movies willy-nilly, but I recommend you watch this movie. Have an open mind and understand that you might not understand a lot of stuff if you're not black. I was trying really hard not to like side eye my partner. That I'm not dating a black man currently, and I say currently, but I'm not going to date anybody after this. He is my forever partner. We're getting married. I'm happy. I'm just saying that my partner is not black. He's not indigenous. He doesn't have those same cultural roots. He understands and he tries to understand as best he can, but he was making quips and jokes and stuff while I'm sitting over there, like my eyes welling up at certain things that I was getting automatically, but he was probably just sitting there like, oh, that's a good scene. There wasn't the same feeling for him because it wasn't his culture being represented. And I understood that from the get go. It's not that he doesn't want to know, it's that he can't really understand. So he's sitting there making like little comments and stuff. And he finally stopped after like the third or fourth look I shot him. We were trying to enjoy the movie. And it just started to dawn on him how important it was for me to immerse myself and grieve, because we didn't really get, when I found out that Chadwick Boseman was sick, it felt like right after that we found out he was dying and that he was gone. And it felt like the world was already going crazy with the sickness, and I was losing friends and family left and right. So I did not have a chance to really process it all. And yeah, I've cried over the loss of my friends, especially the loss of two of my dear friends, because it doesn't make sense. Life is just such a fragile thing sometimes. And when you don't know, and when your faith is shaken sometimes, and you wonder if that ancestral plane exists, if you're worthy to go there, and why some people are taken there sooner than you. And there is a lot that you want to process. And this movie helps because it didn't sugarcoat grief. It didn't make you think that, oh, the only way to fight grief is to smile. And they wanted to be as real and emotional as existing as black can be. And that's why I told my friend Savanya, and I love that she reached out on me. I'm gonna talk more about how she did it on the Bonnet Chronicles tonight. And I was 100% honest with her about, I hate telling people that a movie or music or something's going to help them because they're not me. This helped me process the grief of everything, but I can't speak for you. But if you are black, I think this movie will help you. It will let you cry. It will let you get it out. It might anger you at some points, but you will feel cleansed if you're anything like me. And I am a very oddly emotional person. There are times where I feel completely emotional, and there are times where I'm completely cut off. I can't describe it any better than that. It's like a faucet for me. And I think that seeing this movie helped me turn that tap on, let it all pour out, and then I could turn it off again and just breathe. Because grief never goes away. I heard people say that, oh, you get past it. You don't. If you're 100% honest, it just like the ocean comes in waves. You can stand in the middle of it, and it sometimes hits you. Sometimes it's so strong, it feels like it is going to drown you, pull you under, and just completely destroy everything that you can think or have. And that is not what grief is supposed to be. It's supposed to pull you down, envelope you, let you have that sadness, get it out of your system, and flow with it because you are strong. And I know hearing that can be sickening at times because sometimes you don't want that strength. You don't want to be strong. You don't want to be resilient. You just want to stop feeling the hurt from the loss. And I think not enough of us get to be honest about that because we're always expected to be strong. We're always expected to be resilient. We're always expected to put on a smile and forgive when somebody hurts us. And it's toxic. So I was grateful to the writers, to the director for not shoving that BS down black women's throats because we give so much and we are constantly faced with losses. And all we have left sometimes is our pride and our dignity, which a lot of people try to strip from us. A lot of people try to harm us because we dare have that. So to have a movie be not only a eulogy to somebody dear to us being lost, but to tell us that we can be okay not being okay. That love letter to black women to let us know it is okay to not be okay. We needed this. Things are going to be all right. I have full on believed that. But there are so many days where it feels like you can't see it. Like that wave has knocked you down hard and it's pulling you under, and that you get afraid that you can't go with the flow and become a stronger swimmer. And I get that, and I want you to know that you will be okay. It doesn't always feel that way, and I full on understand that. As we continue to bury our own, as we continue to say goodbye, as we continue to be here, it can be so hard. And I wanted so many of us to see visually. And I think the movie really helps you see visually that it is okay to not be okay. Don't sugarcoat grief. Don't try to act like it all gets magically better. Don't act like there isn't a harder path when you've got to keep going, when the people that you thought that was going to be with you aren't there anymore. I think dealing with grief and family loss, especially, whether it is via death or you protecting your boundaries, it is important to understand that grief never truly goes away. It doesn't have to chain or shackle you either. But to pretend like there won't be days where it just hits you, that momentary bout of sadness from what you had, or a memory, or something that just makes you remember something. And it's okay. Just don't let that be the only thing you feel when you think about it. Because there has to be some good with the bad. There has to be that balance. But like I said, I don't want to ramble on too much because then I'll find myself doing what I want to do later on tonight on the Bonnet Chronicles, which is go into depth a little bit more about what I liked about the story, about why I felt it was the perfect Kickstarter for this Black History Month. But I really did want to be a bit more honest and brutal about how these things make me feel because it is a harder process with my bipolar. When something really emotionally gets to me, it is like a punch to my system. But this was a good one. It was something I needed. I think it was something that a lot of not only black but brown people in general, even if you don't identify as indigenous native, if you're Mexican American, I would suggest this movie. If you're anybody who identifies as Southeast Asian, I feel like you'll resonate with this movie too. And even if you're white, I feel like enough white people are starting to open their eyes to different cultural experiences I wish some of you would chill out on trying to talk over us, but I do feel that you are starting to understand that this world exists with all of us. And I think you can even find things that resonate with you if you let yourself. So I hope more people watch this movie, especially now that you can stream it on Disney Plus. And I will be hopefully doing more of these mental health vlogs soon. But I'm going to get ready to go back to writing. I am truly inspired by so much, so many people who've come before me. And I hope that I can continue to write stories that resonate with people as well. And hopefully I can do more of these mental health vlogs so that I can continue to put a human face on this life, this existence with schizoaffective disorder. But I am going to wrap this up. I will see you all next time.